Musicians Museum mission is to advance the quality of life in our communities across all cultures, generations, and tastes through preserving, advancing, and utilizing incredibly rich and diverse regional musical heritage and resources. We strive to help young people from all walks of life, cultures, and musical interests reach their potential and improve both their lives and the richness of life in our community through music. We achieve this through two paths: the operation of a free public museum, which each year honors influential inductees who have helped shape our musical heritage, as well as showcasing art and musical artifacts. Support and building the nonprofit mission of the museum. The Community Youth Outreach Program is a multifaceted program providing mentorship access to performance venues and education programs geared to teach young musicians the elements needed to succeed as a musician. Through charitable donations, the museum can help underprivileged young musicians obtain instruments they may not otherwise be able to afford, access instructions, mentorship, and performance opportunities.
Welcome to our 7th edition of Tucson Musicians Museum TV. Look for us the first Thursday of every month and follow us online and on Facebook too. I'm Ed Alexander. Tucson Musician Museum TV is produced by George Howard and edited and mixed by Steve Copen. Now, our August show features 3 Native American TMMM inductees who have shared their talents with audiences around the world: Tony and Larry Redhouse and Gertie Lopez. Starting off with the music of our first guest, Grammy nominee and 2016 Tucson Musicians Museum inductee, Tony Redhouse. And you should also know that he's a vocalist, a flautist, world percussionist, and his live meditation music has assisted hospice patients, inspired hope for cancer patients, and given courage to many recovering from addictions. He describes himself as a Native American sound healer, a motivational speaker, and a Native American consultant and recording artist. I am so proud to welcome Tony Redhouse. Hello there.
Hi there. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for being with us. I know you're a busy guy. You're still working and everything. Let me ask you real quick how you were first introduced to the music and your instruments and where this all came from.
Probably from my father. He was from the Navajo Nation. And he had a way of singing around the house, and he also made drums like I make drums today.
Right.
And he would be singing songs, from the Navajo Nation. Hey, hey, young yo, hey, 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 ya, hey, young. So we would hear that all the time. But that was my introduction to the heartbeat of the drum, which has been the basis for all of my percussion, basically. And so, that was probably my first introduction. But also, as a young boy, my mom is Filipino, and she raised us in the Catholic tradition. So she had me in the Catholic Church, and I was dressed as an altar boy with my robe back there as a young little boy. And when the priest would raise the host during the Eucharist, during the service, I would be.
There you go.
I mean, when I would be.
Yes, sir.
That was my first time of learning to do percussion on cue.
Did you learn any Latin?
No. Later on, I learned Latin percussion.
Yeah, there you go. Very cool. The heartbeat of that is just wonderful. Now, you and your brothers and sisters have played together as a Redhouse family jazz band. Did you record any albums together?
Yes, in 1997, we recorded one together on Canyon Records,
Okay.
which is Native American distributor and producer of Native American music. And so we recorded with them. And my father actually joined us in the studio and was singing his Navajo chant over our Native American jazz fusion.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
That's just wonderful. But we can still find some of you on YouTube, I imagine, and stuff like that with the gang.
Yeah. Larry's very active, playing with trios and quartets. He still performs live. Sometimes we used to do concerts in Tucson every year as the Redhouse Family Jazz Ensemble. We used to perform every year in Tucson once a year. But we have not been able to do that for a number of years now.
Now, Tony, you've suffered from addiction yourself. How have you used that journey to help others?
I was pretty much shaped and guided to this path. Part of it was going through a dark journey of addiction. Chronic addiction for many years, alcohol, drugs, smoking, and ended up in a lot of situations like rehabs, detox centers. And in Tucson alone, I was probably the record, I think they told me, 120 times I was detoxed in this one center in Tucson alone. And so I was very chronic, very hopeless in my addiction, very life-threatening, overdoses, ER rooms. Been in prison a couple times, gone through 5 marriages and divorces. So, I had gone through everything and tried everything. But when I started to share actually in the hospice and share that heartbeat and the soothing, just and just be able to create that calm energy for the people that are dying, and they would ask me to come into the room. The families would ask me to come into the room, and I would be, and that was the start actually of me really using very simple sounds. Taking it down to a heartbeat, taking it down to simple melodies, and using the hum of my voice. And that gave the people that were transitioning and dying, it gave them peace. And I realized that in my work with addiction, guess what? We are also dying to an old lifestyle of addiction. We're saying goodbye to something that we've loved very dearly. And we must bury that. And so it can be very painful, and it can be very, a lot of loss and grief and regret. So in every one of my classes, I'm using those sounds to guide all of the participants of my classes into a place of stillness and a place of relaxation.
A better place and a place of healing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You take it from this simple place and that place of orientation, our ancestors, we honor them, and we take it from this place, and it's no different being able to switch gears and to go into, so to be able to shift gears into another culture, because in the end, we realize that in our circle of life, we connect with all cultures, all people, all ancestors, all belief systems, all compositions, all inventions, all thoughts in the air that we can connect into one circle. And so when I shift into the Afro-Cuban or the salsa drumming, it's still song, the drum, the dance. As Native Americans, the drum kept us dancing, the dancing kept us drumming and singing, and the same thing with Afro-Cuban, Afro-Caribbean. All of these cultures, indigenous, had the drum in some form. and
Absolutely.
it kept them dancing. It kept them joyful.
Gotta have the beat.
Yeah.
Tony, if people would like to find out more, to hear your music, to find out the work that you do, where's the best place to find you?
Probably my webpage is tonyredhouse.net. And also they can find me on Facebook. I'm very active there. I post a lot of current events on there and pictures and photographs. And they can also find me on Instagram. But yeah, just Tony Redhouse. Google my name. You can find music videos on YouTube, etc.
Excellent. We appreciate your time. Thank you for all you do. And I'm sure I'll see you down the road here. I've seen you a couple of times, and I look forward to your entertainment and your piece again soon. Thank you much.
Thank you for having me. It was an honor.
Coming up next, Tony's brother, Larry Redhouse. But first, reminder, Tucson Musicians Museum is having a summer battle of the bands for young musicians and musical groups. There's a recording session and more up for grabs. Go to our website, TucsonMusiciansMuseum.org, for more information. And now, Tony's brother, Larry Redhouse. So that is Larry Redhouse, the youngest of the musical Redhouse family. He looks young, doesn't he? On the keyboards, Larry is a renowned pianist, flautist, and Native American dancer. He's opened for jazz greats like Chick Corea, Rick Braun he's played with, Don Harrelson, Pancho Sanchez. They've all been on stage there, and many others. Welcome our 2007 Tucson Musicians Museum inductee, Larry Redhouse. Hello there.
Hi, how you doing?
I am fine. Got you turned around from the piano for just a little while. You are the keyboard player for the family, right?
Yes.
What's the first instrument you learned?
The first instrument was actually piano.
Yeah.
So the word is that I was playing the Marine hymn at a very young age, standing next to the piano and reaching up to the keys. And for some reason, it was the Marine hymn. Maybe it's something I heard.
You learned by sight. You didn't learn by reading at first, right?
So I learned by ear and self-taught. I did have a few lessons, but I quickly stopped.
Yeah.
My mother, who is classically trained, tried to give me lessons when I was a child. And all I remember is crying at the piano. And
yeah, lessons aren't fun. I had lessons too, and never got me anywhere. But if you want to get serious, a lot of people need a place to start anyhow and understand, the musical clef and all that. So you and the family have played together, kind of a jazz fusion thing and all that. When did you actually take the turn into jazz?
Very young age. I was born in Monterey, California, and grew up in Seaside for those early years. And there was a lot of jazz on the radio, and people like Vince Guaraldi were playing in that area, Carmel and things like that. Of course, they're nearby Seaside, Monterey Jazz Festival.
Yeah. So you got to soak all that in. That's great.
A lot of music happening back then.
Yeah. So did the family like play together in the living room or something like that, or how'd that all go?
I don't know if Tony had shared this with you, but as children, I mean, we were so young. I must have been in kindergarten. But I remember the thing was that the siblings would cut out cardboard guitars and use things like milk crates as drums and things in the backyard, and turn on the radio and invite neighborhood kids over. So I guess it was that performing bug kind of thing.
So that's when did you with you yourself first get on stage, and how'd that go?
Since I'm the youngest, the rest of the brothers and sisters started playing real instruments. And so I was in elementary school, probably 5th or 6th grade, and had been watching cartoons, of course, at that age, and saw Fat Albert, which I found out I loved the music for that cartoon, and saw that it was Herbie Hancock. So I went out and bought a Herbie Hancock album.
That's a great story.
It was, the musicians on it were like Freddie Hubbard, Joe Henderson, people like that. And
And you started dreaming.
The album was "I Have a Dream." So
really,
yeah.
That's funny. I had no idea.
It just turned me on to the whole jazz scene. So I started listening to a lot of Freddie Hubbard and Miles, some of the big bands and stuff. And Mary would buy jazz albums from secondhand stores, and one of them that she bought and gave to me was Chet Baker album, West Coast. I think it was Pacific Coast or something like that label. One of the first ones he did. So he got me on jazz.
So here's a kid, started with the air guitar, a box, maybe a cereal box or something like that. And look now. What can you tell aspiring musicians who are watching this, maybe younger kids who say, "Hey, I want to be a star, I think I got some talent. What do I do with it?" What would you say to them?
I would say choose an instrument that you are love, or you love the sound of, and rather than trying to be a star, be creative. I think that was what was so fascinating about music, was that ability to create things. So I started writing music in high school. So some of the early stuff, they were just ideas, and they kept on progressing. And eventually I started playing those tunes in fusion bands back in the 80s. So when I got out of high school, started a professional trio, and was playing on 4th Avenue for years.
And you practice, and you learn as you go. And
listen. I would encourage people that are interested, kids, to listen and find what you're interested in and what gives you joy. And eventually, once you start finding that style that you like, or maybe many styles, to kind of focus on finding your voice. I think that's a good thing to do.
So if we wanted to see you and the trio or the quartet or wherever playing, where should we look?
You can look on my website. After this, I will make sure to update it.
So that is LarryRedhouse.com.
Right.
And you also have Facebook and all that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you, turn around and play us out here, and I'll talk over the outro while you play a little bit. Go ahead. Remember, the Tucson Musicians Museum TV comes out the first Thursday of every month. And coming up in September, we'll meet 3 great TMM R&B inductees. But next, here's a lady I call Tucson's Queen of Wyla, Gertie Lopez and the T.O. Boys.
All right, let's give a big hand to the adults contest.
Gertie Lopez. Hi, Gertie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited. You've been nominated for and won many awards, both locally and nationally, including the Southwest Folklore Alliance Native American Music Awards, and you'll be inducted into the Tucson Musicians Museum this fall. Did you know that?
I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if it was a surprise or not, but I thought I'd let you know. How long have you had this Wyla band?
I've had the Wyla band for about maybe 20 some years now with Gertie and the Teal Boys. However, previous years I've been playing with, I actually started out with my family band when we were like in junior high. So I've been playing for many, many years, but the last 20 some years has been Gertie and the Teal Boys.
That's a good ride. So did you start off with accordion?
No, I didn't. I started off with the guitar
and
drums.
And how did you get to the accordion from there? Because that's like a key instrument.
Yeah, well, actually, my late dad, Augustine Lopez, he had a mariachi and a Wyla. He had his own Wyla band also. And his mariachi band had consisted of the Mexican guitars, which is one of them was the vihuela. So that's what I learned first. And we played in little gigs around the Casa Grande area with my dad. And then he started teaching us like the guitar and the bass and stuff like that. And the drums, I had to kind of learn the drums on my own. Just my dad brought home an accordion one time that somebody needed some money at one of the bars in Casa Grande. And my dad bought the accordion and brought it and just laid it down and just wanted to see which one of his 9 children were going to pick it up and play. And so me and my brother Steve, we both picked it up, and I play my style and my brother Steve plays his own style, and we both taught ourselves how to play. Yeah, but because my dad had his band, I already heard the music, like the Wyla music or the Mexican music. And so when I picked it up, I was trying that kind of music, trying to play the songs that my dad played.
That's a big instrument for a little lady to pick up in the first place when you're young. Did you have to sit down first and put it on your knee and then do that thing? Or
I probably was around between 10 and 12 or something like
but
that.
That's it takes up a lot of space.
I play what I can, and I've been playing like that for many years.
So you play a little bit of norteña, you play a little cumbia, polka, of course, anything else? How does that all comes to you guys make this up, or is this traditional, or how's that go?
Some of it is traditional. Some of the songs has been alive on the reservation for a long, long time. And then as our ancestors played it, and I think the people coming after that kept the song going, and the song just kept going. And right now, a lot of us still play the old school style Wyla music. And these days, we have a lot of young musicians who are already gifted with the talent, because a lot of there's many bands on the TO Nation that become the families become bands, and younger generation, just like we did with my dad. He taught us, and we kept on going. And I even have one of my grandchildren Chloe playing the ukulele.
Oh my
in the band, and so my niece Naomi, she's playing the saxophone, and my other sister, somebody else is playing something. My little sister plays the drums for me now. So so that's how it's kind of been taught within the family too as well. I also teach basic guitar classes in my job too, as a librarian and stuff like that.
And you guys are playing what? You play fairs, fiestas. I know you play rodeos. What?
Yeah, we've been pretty much. We play for any occasion. We even play for divorce parties if there's a divorce party.
Look at you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, all kinds, birthdays, weddings. Unfortunately, we do play for funerals and wakes that they have on the reservation.
Where can we find all the information about T.O. Boys?
We have a place in San Javier on the reservation. It's called the Coyote Store. It's directly across the church there in San Javier.
Okay. Yes, in that little
John Fenton
Mercado right across there.
CEO of Coyote Store. You can find my CDs there. And I recently, during COVID, I produced a Christmas CD. And so that right now I'm currently working on another CD that will be my 10th one, God willing.
So, but you do have a website and Facebook and all that. Where will we look?
My website right now is gertieswhitemusic.com. And I'm on Facebook, Gertie and the Boys, White Band, Gertie and the Boys. Yeah. So, my email is gertieandtheboys@gmail.com also.
Now you take care of those boys.
I have some girls in there for my band too now. I have different band members that play along with me. Mm-hmm. And like I said, my little sister Maureen is currently played the drums, and my other niece Missy, she plays the drums too sometimes. And then I also have a percussionist, Mrs. Chris Lewis, that's playing. So there's like 3 of us girls in there.
Next time you have a party or a special occasion, or go to Facebook and watch one of their videos, and then order some of their CDs and have yourself your own party and enjoy Gertie Lopez and the T.O. Boys.
Yeah, I'd also like to thank all our family, friends, and fans out there that have supported me throughout the whole music. And, we're Gertie and the T.O. Boys. We still love you. Peace out, baby.
That's it for the August edition of the Tucson Musicians Museum TV. Look for us on the TMM website, Facebook, and YouTube, and at the museum itself at the Tucson Convention Center. I'm Ed Alexander. Adios.